Today's word is lexicon. It means the vocabulary of a particular language, field, social class, person, etc.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling something really fundamental: words. How we learn them, how we use them. Basically our vocabulary.
Yeah, and we've got a pretty interesting mix of sources to draw from for this one.
We really do. Everything from like a Reddit thread with people sharing practical tips, all the way to academic papers digging into the science of our mental dictionary.
And even a look back at ancient Greek dictionaries, which is fascinating.
Right. So the mission today is to pull out the best insights on, how vocabulary actually develops, how that mental dictionary is organized.
How language can shape thought. That's a big one. And maybe most importantly, give you some real actionable ways to boost your own word power without it feeling like homework.
Exactly. So let's start with the basics. Why even bother expanding your vocabulary? Is it really that important?
That is the crucial first question, isn't it? Well, one of our sources, a Nesta blog post, puts it, quote, directly.
It argues that having a strong vocabulary is often perceived as, well, a sign of intelligence, eloquence, even sophistication.
Right. I can see that. It affects how people see you.
Definitely. It impacts your interactions, both, professionally and personally. It helps make a better impression. The post actually calls out coaches and public speakers specifically.
Yeah, for them, having the right word at the right time is critical.
Crucial. But it's not just about perception. That same post, and actually a Reddit user too, more than the Roach, mentioned practical things like vocabulary apps.
Oh, yeah, the word-a-day notifications.
Exactly. Little things, consistent effort. It suggests that small steps can really add up in how well we express ourselves.
But, there was that other Reddit thread, the one asking, why expand your vocabulary when you don't need to? Big words are scary.
Right. That's the counter-argument, isn't it?
It is. That feeling that maybe using fancy words is just showing off, or it puts people off.
There's a valid point to raise. Are we just trying to sound smart? But another source, the one on William White's work, it gives a deeper reason. It talks about recovery communities and argues that focusing on the meaning of words, choosing them carefully, can actually change how people see themselves and how others see them.
So it's not just sounding smart, it's about reframing understanding.
Precisely. It can even influence social policy, apparently. It's language as a tool for changing perspectives.
That's really powerful. And didn't the linguist Dan Jurafsky say something related about understanding humanity?
Yeah, he noted that looking at language differences shows us the sheer range of human experience, while the universals, the things all languages share, help us grasp our core humanity. So a richer vocabulary kind of connects us more deeply.
Okay, I'm convinced it's worthwhile. So how do we actually do it? How do we learn new words effectively? The sources were full of suggestions here.
They really were. That Reddit thread was gold for practical tips. A big one was reading, but specifically reading interesting shorter stories.
Like Sherlock Holmes or O. Henry. Not diving straight into like War and Peace.
Exactly. Hold off on the really long or maybe translated stuff like Dumas or Verne initially. Keep it engaging and manageable.
Makes sense. What else? I saw something about calendars.
Yeah, daily vocabulary calendars. And another user, Martha Stewart 123, suggested watching movies, news, politicians even.
To pick up their speaking style.
In their sophisticated words, yeah. Kind of learning by osmosis.
Interesting. There were more active methods too, right? Like writing.
Yes. Business Wing 2727 suggested just writing regularly.
Yeah.
About anything. Don't worry too much about grammar at first. Just write and then look back later.
Sort of correct your own progress. I like that. Any specific books or tools mentioned?
Definitely. Classics like Word Power Made Easy came up. Yeah. Even TOEFL prep books for non-native speakers or just anyone wanting structured learning.
Okay.
And lots of people mentioned using dictionary websites, Cambridge, Oxford, Webster, for their word of the day features.
That's an easy win. Just a quick daily habit.
And the slightly unusual one from Mumijumbi 3 online role-playing games.
Really? How does that help?
Well, apparently, the ones that involve detailed descriptions really push you to use and understand richer language. Kind of immersive learning.
Huh. Never thought of that. What about those fancy words you hear but don't quite know?
User DruckCB's site DirtNod had a neat trick. Well, look up synonyms of fancy words you do know. It leads you to related terms.
Oh, clever. Sort of expanding outwards.
Right. And others suggested older books, period shows. You get the words in context, and sometimes even hear the pronunciation.
And back to the apps again, the daily notifications. Seems like a popular one.
Very convenient. And it's interesting, the Nesta blog post echoed a lot of this.
Did it? What did they emphasize?
Pretty much the same core ideas. Read widely, books, articles, whatever. Use a dictionary and thesaurus actively. Try to learn and actually use a new word each day.
Using it is key, I guess, not just learning it.
Exactly. Practice writing, journals, blogs, engage in discussions, debates, use the apps and games, listen to speeches, podcasts, like this one.
Huh, right. And maybe even take a language course if you're serious.
Yeah, it covers all the bases, from passive absorption to very active study.
It's good to see that overlap between personal experience and professional advice. Now, one source mentioned something called semantic reasoning. That's sort of a bit more academic.
It is, yeah. It's described as an evidence-based method, often used with adolescents. It combines critical thinking with visuals and language instruction.
So not just memorizing definitions.
No, not at all. It's about understanding words in context, thinking critically about how they relate to each other, often using visual maps or diagrams. The goal is deeper understanding, seeing words as part of a network.
A network. Which brings us nicely to the mental lexicon, our internal dictionary. How is it organized in there? It's not alphabetical, right?
Definitely not alphabetical. Wikipedia defines it as the part of our language faculty holding all the word info, meaning pronunciation, syntax.
Yeah.
But it's organized by connections. Links between words that sound similar or mean similar things, those slips of the tongue we sometimes make.
Yeah.
They often reveal these hidden links. You grab a word that's closely related in sound or meaning to the one you actually wanted.
Ah, so that's why that happens. It's like wires getting crossed between related concepts.
Kind of, yeah. And there are some key concepts that explain how we access words. Priming is one.
Priming.
It's when hearing one word makes you slightly faster at recognizing a related word soon after. Hear doctor. Then you recognize nurse more quickly.
Okay, makes sense. What about neighborhood effects?
That's about words that sound alike. Think cat, hat, mat, bat. Those are all phonological neighbors. Having lots of neighbors can sometimes speed up recognition because the whole sound area gets activated.
Interesting. And frequency effects. That sounds straightforward.
It is. We recognize and retrieve common words, high-frequency words, faster than rare ones. The brain's pathway to those words is just more well-worn.
Like a familiar trail in the woods. And how does this lexicon develop? Kids learn words incredibly fast, don't they?
Astonishingly fast. Several words a day in the early years, often nouns first. And they have this ability called fast mapping.
Fast mapping.
It means they can get a rough idea of a word's meaning after hearing it just once or twice in context. Really rapid initial learning.
Wow. And there was something about lemma and lexeme.
Right. The idea is the lemma, the core meaning and grammatical function, often develops slightly before the lexeme, which is the actual sound form of the word. They grasp the concept before they perfectly nail the pronunciation or all its forms.
Fascinating. Does it change as we get older? Does it shrink?
Well, accessing it might become slightly less efficient with age, more tip-of-the-tongue moments perhaps, but not necessarily shrinking in size.
Okay.